What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP, and this is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everyone.
And we're on a timer, so welcome to another episode of the FilmBros podcast. Like I said, doomsday clock is ticking, but that's not going to stop us from hitting these topics. But before we do, Josh, let them know where they can interact with us. Let us know what movies they want us to review, if they have any topics that they want us to talk about, and where they can support us in a big way.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcasts. That's to hit us up for any news or movies you want us to cover. Support us in a big way. Buzzsprout, links are in those bios. You get special perks when you do. Subscribe to our YouTube, things of that nature. Sorry for speed running. He just said we're on a clock. And I'm trying to push this bitch out fast as fuck.
Not that quick of a clock. I think we got enough time.
I'm just making sure. Because I want to get through this
without
without having to stitch in a second part.
We'll be fine.
Let's go. Hurry up.
We'll be fine. We'll be 100% fine. But always make sure to catch our older episodes out right now. You can catch them on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasting needs. Go check it out. Be caught up with the conversation. And yeah. So, Josh, I don't know if you heard, but it's the battle of the nerds, man. Threads versus X. Fight night. Man versus God. God versus man.
Don't do this.
Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk have decided they want to throw dukes. Elon says that if Zuckerberg agrees, that they will stream it live on X and all proceeds will go to charity. He wound up tweeting over the weekend. Zuckerberg decided that that's not true. He went on Threads and basically said that he's been ready since today. Suggested that they could go ahead and fight August 26th. That he first challenged, but Elon Musk has yet to say anything. To the whole funds would be streamed. Zuckerberg on his Threads, which I heard a lot of people jumped off of.
Immediately.
Yeah. He said, shouldn't we use a more reliable platform that we can actually raise money for charity? It goes on to say that Facebook has a fundraising button, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Hashtag self-plug. And then even goes as far as to say that Elon Musk wants just his funding secured. Saying that, and Elon Musk responds to all these tweets basically saying that the fight is short. If the fight is short, he'll probably win. If it's long, he may win because of endurance, as in Zuckerberg might win because of endurance. Yeah, man. Who would have ever thought that these two icons would ever, and I call them icons because they are, rightfully so. He created Tesla. This man pioneered Facebook. No matter how dweebish they look, they are completely smart people. But if you had to put your money on somebody, who are you putting your money on? I'm just saying Zuckerberg looks ripped in this photo too, by the way. Apparently
he naturally does like jujitsu.
Yeah, just kind of fucking trains on a rig.
He maybe training it could be Zuckerberg taking this. But I don't know. Elon Musk seems like the type to cheat. He might be on roids by the time this fight happens.
There's no dirt on the floor, but he's gonna throw dirt on his face during the fight. He's like, "Where'd you even get the dirt from?" Don't ask.
Full of sand.
I thought this was just an insane thing. Great promotion, by the way, like for both platforms, because I'm sure people are going to Threads now trying to get in on all the tea and all that stuff. But I don't think anybody was clamoring for this fight. But I mean, if they can get it set in stone and we can watch two nerds duke it out, I mean, would that be that'd bring the American people together, right?
I think so.
Two nerds beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, that would probably bring people together.
They're not gonna know what 2 + 2 is when the fight is over. They're just gonna be like, you know?
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on. I personally think I don't know. Off his physique, I don't know. I'm sure Elon hasn't really been doing any training. Does he do any training? Has he came out saying anything about any training?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, no, but on the regular, that's what I'm saying. On the regular, like, he just does taijutsu. He doesn't need a reason to beat someone's ass. But should the opportunity arise, I guess he'd be prepared.
probably gonna send his robot in there to fight him. He's gonna be like
the lizard versus the machine.
yeah, man, it's gonna be insane.
That would
So
be funny.
still no fight date set, but apparently beef is being thrown, shade is being thrown as well, and it's kind of, what kind of an era are we in, guys? Who would have ever thought? I would have never thought I would have seen Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg going at each other. I would have never thought I would have seen Mark Zuckerberg fucking ripped. My boy looks jacked. Everybody thought he was just some scrawny nerd that looks at the camera like this.
Yeah, no,
you know?
I'm pretty sure that's still what he is. It's that lizard physique, man. Can't beat it.
It's not a lizard physique anymore. That is a...
Nah, man. He's a fucking lizard. He's getting ripped. He's lizard training.
lizard ripped. Oh, well, I can't argue with that, but hey, we'll keep you guys up to date now that this is actually happening. I thought this was a joke for like the longest time. I thought they were just kind of like, hey, yo, Jimmy, fuck you. And he was like, oh, well, fuck you back, you know,
basically
fuck your mom, you know.
From across the way.
Right. No, apparently it's not internet beef, and they're willing to take it to the ring. Kind of excited about that, just to see two nerds duke it out.
Yeah.
Might as well just let it happen. But moving on, though, I don't know what it was about this weekend, but, you know, we have our older episodes, you know, the DCEU is dead, the Flash review, which we also went into detail on how this universe just basically decided to die. But people are not letting it go. Olivia is one of the main people who decided to come out and talk over the weekend on a podcast about Ben Affleck's axed Batman movie, which wound up turning out to be The Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
If nobody knows the history, it was supposed to be Ben Affleck's Batman movie. People didn't see eye to eye with the direction. I think Ben Affleck came out saying that he just couldn't crack the code on the movie or something like that, and wound up hanging up his cowl, but then putting it back on for the Flash. You know, that was a whole big spectacle as it is. So the movie slowly just turned from Batman's Ben Affleck solo movie to just a reboot to the Batman brand, and they brought Robert Pattinson in, and it wound up turning out to be what we got in theaters back in 2022, right?
Yeah,
came out 2022.
Yeah.
But Olivia was the storyboard artist since Man of Steel, and he worked on the canceled Batman movie, Wonder Woman, Batman v Superman, Justice League. He even more going on. So while talking on the podcast, he basically said, "I can't really say too much other than it was fucking awesome. It was the best. It was amazing from my understanding. There were a couple of drafts of it when I was brought on. I don't know whether it was the second draft or something, but it was the Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck had shown me. I worked on a lot of Batman things, and what was really cool about it was it was tying together a lot of really cool Batman storylines that had never been really explored. Ben's story was going to cover something that's never really been covered in comics, but was building off of storylines in the Batman mythos over the last 80 years and approaching it from a new kind of perspective."
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that means?
I think it means they were just gonna get very innovative with the Batman. Like I know what he did in BVS at the time was something people really found controversial, but I think this movie would have taken the time to not only establish the things that the Batman does, but also, you know, twist it for Ben Affleck's Batman, the DCEU's Batman. It probably would have been something spectacular, especially if they were taking all those mythos and taking what worked and what didn't work and trying to make it all work. It just sucks that we never got it. That's the thing.
It does suck. And, I mean, I know that they were going to turn it on its head. I mean, we saw what happened with Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Very controversial movie. For whatever reason, didn't really resonate with a lot of people, that whole neck snapping. We already... There's no need to sugarcoat it. We know, guys. We know you're mad about it. Why? We don't know. But, hey, you guys are mad about it. Shit was going to go sideways in this universe. We already know. It was going to go bonkers. They were going to flip shit on its head and give you that full resolution arc because they wanted everybody to start at a down spot. So eventually, you know, from what I heard with Snyder's 5-movie arc, they were all supposed to be at a certain point where they were those superheroes that everybody's come to know and love. But it was just going to take some time to get there. And The Batman was going to be one of those movies that took its time and set that tone and the stage, basically.
The thing about what we would have had always kind of just makes me think, like, fuck, we were so robbed. I know this past weekend a lot of things came out about Zack Snyder's DCEU and where those movies were going to go. It sucks not to have them. It sucks not to have them. That's like the baseline of it all.
I think Ben Affleck's Batman was the one that hurt the most for me. Only to know that Deathstroke was going to be in there and they were going to have these cool ass fight scenes and that.
With it.
It's never going to fruition ever. And you know, that just fucking sucks. But 80 years of mythos, man. 80 years. That is a lot that they were really trying to... What I'm guessing was going to spearhead and try to show a different direction. I mean, we already seen with Henry Cavill, Superman, that a lot of people see Henry Cavill as this generation's Superman.
Yeah.
Pushed it forward. Harley Quinn, till this day, what does everybody associate with Harley Quinn? Pigtails, all this and that, you know, the punk rock skirts, all that goth chick kind of look. Mm-hmm. When she used to just be clown makeup and a red and black suit, you know? So, I mean, this DCEU was doing wonders, and it was going to really change the game. Another thing that was really going to try to change the game was Rick Fuyama's Flash movie. So, same people that Jay Olivia was talking to, Inverse, basically saying that Rick Fuyama's movie was laying the groundwork for Zoom as the big baddie of the DC universe. It was Professor Zoom pulling the strings because he had come from the future, basically fucking with Barry. In the Flash movie, Zoom would be the villain in the background, but also the ancillary other films. You would see some of the influences of Zoom on the rest of the Justice League. Mm-hmm. Continues to say Rick's movie wasn't the Flashpoint movie originally. There was supposed to be just Zack's 5 films and one side movie, which ended up being Suicide Squad. But after the success of Man of Steel, Warner Bros. Decided to go all in on its cinematic universe. Rick's movie was going to be a series of films, just like Aquaman. I think all of those films, they were planning to be trilogies. And with that one, I say we were completely fucking robbed. So, and this is crazy, because they pulled... This is the weird part. He said it out of his lips himself. Man of Steel, it was supposed to be 5 movies, right? Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Justice League 1 and 2.
Yeah. And
then, or maybe 3.
Depending. 3 or 4, depending.
Yeah, so they saw Man of Steel. They said Man of Steel made a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
But that movie wasn't profitable, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Made a fuck ton of money. Let's go ahead and make this a cinematic universe. Let's go ahead and pump out some more movies. They said Zoom was going to be this big bad by the end of the Flash's trilogy. We knew the Flash movie was the first one after Zack Snyder's Justice League, or the original Justice League back in 2017. I believe the Flash movie was supposed to come out in 2019 or something like that. And it got pushed back, and it got changed up, retooled. It was supposed to lay the groundwork for the next villain after Darkseid, and we were just 100% robbed. That shit is so crazy how robbed we were. Doesn't make any sense how they were like, we're gonna greenlight it, but then we got bad reception from another movies, and we're ungreenlighting all of this. It's like, y'all pussy foot in. Like, why did you say let's put our chips all in, and then 2 seconds later we're like, no, give them back. I don't want to do that. No, that shit's crazy. That shit's super insane.
Yeah, no. If I come out of for real, that's like the best I got. The way DC has been mangled and fucking twisted since 2017 when that Justice League movie came out, it's just derailed everything. Everything we probably could have had if WB wasn't just like, hey, we know your kid died, but we still want the movie to happen. Can you make it happen? And Zach was like, no, I'm kind of inconsolable. And then Joss Whedon was like, I'm your guy. I'll get you there. And he just wasn't the guy.
That's not what happened.
Yeah, it was.
That's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what happened. We don't know the full story or the full extent, but we do know that they were trying to push him out since BVS because of the dark tone and people didn't, couldn't deal with it.
People fucking suck.
They were trying to fuck with him. Rumor has it that he had beef with Jeff Johns as well. Kind of cemented that during his little Snyder thing where he showed all the movies and wound up showing Zack Snyder's Justice League in IMAX. He even kind of confirmed it when they had asked him if they were going to be ever, if they could ever work together. And he just basically laughed and they all said, fuck no, kind of thing. And I think it was beef between Jeff Johns and Zack. I think Hamada picked the side. I think Cyborg picked, Jesus, wow. I just blew his mind with all these details that he is completely just coughing on his coffee right now. You good? Better?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of details, but man, I'm gonna need you to just.
Goddamn.
I'm gonna need you to just keep it together for me.
Shut up.
So that's basically what happened until Zack Snyder comes out and tells us what exactly happened, which seems like he's too much of a gentleman. A and B. It seems like they are actually working with him and maybe reconciling something because, he's promoting Warner Brothers' his Blue Beetle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're hearing as well from David Ayer that we might be getting his cut as well.
Yeah.
I have the full tweet to read,
Mm-hmm.
but things are turning and gears are turning, and people are coming out and talking a little bit more openly about all these hiccups and incidences that happened during the birth of the DCEU era, I guess you could say. Man, I remember that 2016, man, that Civil War, DC versus Marvel era, that shit was crazy. But here we are, in the present day. Like I said, we had a whole slew of DCU Snyder shit come out over the weekend. Are we heading towards a fucking horizon right now? Are we looking at something good, or what's going on here?
I don't know, man. I do know he's promoting WB stuff. He's promoting Blue Beetle best he can. That kind of gets his own fans in a frenzy, which is weird. But yeah, I think we are coming towards something. I don't know what. I don't know when. But I do feel like we are coming up on something. Will the Snyderverse come back? Probably not. But if we can get the Ayer cut, I think I'll be satisfied.
At least the Ayer cut, which I would agree. So we did get a little nugget, and it's making a lot of people have a lot more hope. The Nerd Rage podcast decided to tweet under a post that David Ayer himself posted of Jared Leto. Some behind the scenes, he posted a picture of Deadshot's mask.
Yeah.
Jared Leto's picture right here that you see right now, and basically retweeted, and said, not to call out David by saying this, but you do know this was released back in 2016, right? David Ayer retweeted and basically said, what's your advice on how to navigate this situation with grace? There's a genuine curiosity and interest from a lot of people, and I'm aware of there is another group of people that have fun mocking the film. Your comment is a perfect example of how many are magnetically drawn discussion to the 2016 film in a negative way. Have you ever had a bad experience in your life that didn't until the way... I'm assuming it's a typo. Didn't go the way you wanted, that dragged you, that made you rethink everything. I have. All I know is my unseen film plays much better than the studio release. The interest in my cut being shown seems real and organic, and Gunn told me it would have its time to be shared. He absolutely deserves to launch his DC universe without more drama about old projects. In a way, I'm chained to this thing. I'm riding a tiger here and navigating the situation the best I can. Life is a very strange journey. Welcome to my TED Talk. So, confirms that he talked to James Gunn. Confirmed that they are talking about releasing his cut.
Yeah.
It's just the timing of when. And I'd say there's no DC movies next year. The timing would be perfect. Well, besides Folly the Pew or whatever the fuck it's called, Joker 2.
Oh, Joker 2.
That's the only DC movie that's supposed to come out. And that's an Elseworlds movie. They could totally slip David Ayers' cut in HBO Max next year. Towards the end of the year. See what kind of interest it drives.
Yeah.
Complete Snyder's vision. And then move on to the reboot, the start of the new DCU. In my opinion. That's what I think. That would be perfect.
Basically, I mean, all DC has next year is Creature Commandos, right? And Joker, I guess. But yeah, sometime next year would be nice. Probably a little wishful thinking, considering the year after that, his Superman Legacy movie comes out. But I don't know. I don't know when it could come out, and I hope it comes out soon, though. I know David Ayer saying that he talked to Gunn, at least paints a nice picture of we might be getting it sometime soon.
Might be getting something. And I, for one, have been waiting for this. I honestly been waiting for this cut ever since I heard that it was meddled about. Same thing with Justice League, and we wound up getting Zack Snyder's Justice League. I just want the finished vision. We know that Suicide Squad was supposed to be directly connected to the rest of the movies. I think they even showed a concept art saying that at the end of Suicide Squad, Steppenwolf was supposed to show himself, which was supposed to lead into Justice League. That, to me, sounds great because I will say this all the time. The beginning DCEU movies I fucking love because it felt like it was so interconnected. One movie led off to another one, and it started where the other one left off, and so on and so forth. It actually felt like an interconnected story. And then along the way, we fucking lost that, which sucks. But yeah. I think that the Suicide Squad has a spot in that is basically a mixed up puzzle because of what happened with the Studio Squad release. And hopefully, we'll be able to get that David Ayers cut that will complete this.
Yeah. Wishful thinking. Hopefully we do get something like this. If not the Ayer cut, something damn near close. I know James Gunn needs to make right with these fans. He keeps pissing off Mercury and all them. Like, he has to do something. And what better way than to release the Ayer cut? All the ones that are swearing off his movies and can affect his box office, apparently.
And when you say all of them, are you one of them?
The toxic mad ones that he's fucking with on Twitter? Yeah. No.
Oh.
Well, he's not fucking with me. I don't. I tag him in whatever, and I don't think he sees that shit.
Inadvertently fucking with you. You know, kicked out Henry Cavill. Ben Affleck's no longer Batman. Said that he was going to work in his universe, and Ben Affleck was like, fuck no, I'm not, you know?
Yeah, I guess in that case. It was supposedly, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I've kind of already said I don't know about his Superman and stuff, so I mean, what better way to spark a DC fan than to kind of give him something that he's wanted for a minute and then, you know, feed him new shit.
That is true. Little nuggets of the past DCEU coming up into light out of nowhere. So really just with this and the whole Blue Beetle thing that Zack Snyder tweeted, to me, it just seems a little too convenient that all this is happening. Mm-hmm. So something has to be brewing behind closed doors.
They got to be cooking.
Yeah. But one person who's not cooking is Dwayne Johnson. As he takes a look back at what was a failed attempt at his DC universe. Talking to Kevin Hart on his show Heart to Heart, it's on Peacock, basically discussing what happened in that whole situation when it came down to change of leadership, how The Rock took it when Black Adam, you know, he basically came out saying that Black Adam was phase 1 of storytelling.
Yeah.
And then he had to walk that dog back very embarrassingly. Yeah. Like I said, I think he's already sat through the embarrassment. I don't want to keep bringing it up. I got secondhand embarrassment off that. I thought it was a little fucked up for Zaslav to have done that. Yeah. Like, hey, go ahead and say these things, and then winds up hiring James Gunn, and now he has to walk everything back. Like I said, he dealt with his own demons. It sounds like he found that peace within all that chaos. Yeah. And I just want you, I don't know, did you see this clip? Did you hear about it?
I haven't seen it.
No? Oh, let's play it. I'll let you watch it, and then you let me know what you think.
Okay.
Huge. Yeah. By the way, the thing that's crazy about it being so fucking big your fan base is engaged, everybody's engaged. You make an announcement, and your announcement is talking about, hey, we're not going to continue the world of Black Adam, right?
Yeah.
For me, I'm curious. I want to know why, especially when there's such a successful opening. You seem to have the appetite from your fan base for more. What's the reason or the reasons for the stopping of Black Adam?
I think that Black Adam got caught in a vortex of new leadership. And at that time, as we were creating Black Adam, developing it, shooting Black Adam, we got knocked down a little bit because of COVID and the shutdowns, got back up. There was so many changes in leadership. And as you know, anytime you have a company, but especially that size and magnitude, that's a publicly traded company, and you have all those changes in leadership, you have people coming in who creatively, fiscally are going to make decisions that you may not agree with philosophically. So I think Black Adam was one of those movies that got caught in that web of new leadership. And, you know, that will always be one of the biggest mysteries, I think, not only for me and us on our end, but also throughout our business, because that's a Kevin question. But that was a question out of Wall Street. That was a question out of Hollywood. That was a question like, wait a second. You had the biggest opening of your career. Sure, no China. That could have been maybe 100, maybe 200 more $1 million. You're establishing a new superhero. You want to grow out the franchise. You bring back Superman and Henry Cavill. The world went crazy. And also, too, and you were texting me this on opening weekend, is we created a diverse superhero portfolio where we had just men and women of color, you know, in Black Adam too as well. So I was impressed by the execution. Yeah.
I know how Black Adam, how close the movie was, the project, and that was one that was near and dear to your heart. And cracking the code, it seemed that cracking the code on the world of superhero is something, of course, that you were very ambitious about doing. And what I thought you did, I was like, oh, that's dope as fuck. He put his mind to it, and he did it. Like, the shit's happening. They're in production. They're shooting the movie. Fuck, it's done. Damn, release the trailer. Shit look good. DJ, congrats. Fuck, all right. You then release the movie. Movie has success behind it. You get some positive dollars in the goddamn box office behind it in a time where the box office seemed to be taking hits, dips. So, I don't know. It was a weird thing for me and just not knowing, but to hear you say that, it makes sense. You know, when there's a changing of the guard, sometimes the business changes as well, and rightfully so, right? Like, we can't be a part of the world of why on that side, but and giving them the best opportunity to make more and do more, that's our job. That's where we come in.
Exactly. And, you know, I think as business-minded people who are always, you and I, who are always thinking audience first, yes, we look at and respect the bottom line economically, but also when you think about opportunity and creating things that are fresh and delivering for the audience, which is our number one boss, when that wasn't looked at through that lens, it makes things a little bit more challenging, I think, for guys like you and I, where you go, you sure you want to do this? But hey, at the end of the day, you know what it is? It's like new ownership coming in, buying an NFL team and going, all right, not my head coach, not my quarterback. Doesn't matter how many times you won the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter how many rings we got. I'm going with somebody else.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
Not my team, not my quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I want to say, first off, I'm happy that this universe didn't get kicked off, because we probably would have had Kevin Hart in the sequel. That probably would have just inevitably would have happened, and he would have been in some goofy-ass role where he would have talked a lot, and it would have just been done, and it would have been played out as a gag, and yeah, moved on. So I would just say on that aspect, I'm happy it didn't happen. And he's right. It was a lot of change of ownership. It was a lot of changes that were happening. But I think this is something that he's failing to say too, is that he's kind of failing to say that he kind of tried to muscle his way in. And when he got rejected, he didn't take it well, because he's right? Like, the audiences is the number one boss. If this is what we want, if we say Henry Cavill, why isn't James Gunn putting Henry Cavill there, right?
Yeah.
He tried to make that happen for the fans, backfired, but it's all because of the fact that he was trying to really strong arm his way in there instead of doing it organically or in the way that it needed to have been done.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he had been doing this he had been trying to make this movie happen for a minute. Same thing with like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. They were both struggling to get this shit together, and I mean, yeah, he was strong arming it, and that's not the way to do it. But at the same time, like if him strong arming it only gets him closer to his vision, he can't really expect him to stop. You know what I mean? Especially when he's right there, and like Kevin Hart just said, like you already got it shot. You made it a movie. Good fucking for you. Yeah, it doesn't do well, and you know ownership changes hands in the middle of your fucking viewing. But like you still expect that, you know, he was just trying to do what was better for the fans, and this and that. And the fact that it didn't work out is just a whole nother reason entirely. But he's right. The fucking it changing hands definitely caused things to happen the way they did.
Yeah, and I will agree the whole China box office was one thing too, because he wound up making $400 million off opening weekend domestically alone.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't really have that China box office that would have gave him that extra $200 million, maybe if you know if people really resonated with the movie, which China does put in numbers when it comes to like Hollywood blockbusters and stuff like that. So
regardless,
I don't know. It was a messy situation. He was just another if you notice, he's just another casualty down the line of bruised, hurt, not only actors but directors, egos down this line of fucking DCEU fucking drama. He was just, if he would have avoided it all entirely, he probably would have been 100% fine. But he said, I want to be the one to take this dragon down, and I'm gonna be the one victorious. And then he got his ass kicked, and he ate a little slice of humble pie, and here he is now.
Humble pie.
Yeah, man. Now here he is, just, you know, we got knocked down, but we got back up and did what we had to do. You know, I'm sure it was a different tune when it was happening. 100%.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, you kind of you had your movie happen, and then not only does it fail, you know, gradually, but now you're being kicked out of something they probably had talking for a minute, like their own goal to set up should Black Adam succeed. You don't talk, like, I know you talk sequels, but I don't think you talk sequels unless something's there. You know what I mean? Black Adam 2, whatever, him versus Justice League, something like that, right?
No, the thing about the thing about The Rock, kind of like we said with that movie that he's making where he's getting paid $50 million a day. He just demands a lot. I told you before, I'll say it again. For those who haven't listened to it, I said it in the past episodes, but The Rock has been wanting a franchise. He wants a franchise. Everybody in Hollywood wants to be able to have a franchise.
Yeah, but you don't get a franchise unless your first one succeeds. There had to be a plan there during that whole planning the first one that, hey, if we make it, I want to do this with the Justice League. And things
you
like
just
that.
heard him say that he had a diverse cast, and even in Black Adam 2. As soon as they sit down at the table, they're already talking franchises, they're talking spin-offs, they're talking everything. Because they're exactly that question. If it does good, what are we going to do? And so they make this alternate route where it's like, if it does good, you're going to have these movies.
What are you arguing with me for? That's literally what I'm talking about.
No, yeah, but that's what I'm telling you.
But
you
listen. Were like, but wait. I was like, what? No, yeah, we're on the same page. Yeah, what would have happened? Because you don't talk about a sequel without there being a plan for it already.
Yeah,
that's what I was getting at. And then you were just like, oh, but wait, like,
no, because you're trying to dismiss The Rock, saying that yeah, but they had to think that there was some kind of success behind it. No, that's a contingency plan. As soon as you walk in, you're gonna be like, if it does good, this is what I want. If it does bad, this is what's gonna happen, and you're not gonna get those things. But when you walk into that deal, that contingency is already in place, and that's what I'm saying. The Rock has been wanting a franchise all this time. So as soon as he walked into this Black Adam thing, he was, like I said, he was the one who wanted to tame all this drama. He's the one that wanted to do all this stuff, and because it didn't happen for him, he got humbled.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think October was a crazy time. November was a crazy time. January was also a crazy time. I there's a lot of things going down in DC's history before the Flash where you're just like, fuck, what were we getting? You know what I mean? Like, at least back then you can be like, oh no, man, before the COVID, we were having consecutively DC movies twice a year, following up Marvel's 3 a year, right? And then
twice a year with a butt full of fucking reshoots.
That's
in between.
why. That's why. So like there was but that's what I mean. That there was just a time where you were getting DC projects. Now next year we're probably only getting one movie, a TV show, and then the year after that we're getting a movie and whatever else follows after that. I don't know how many shows are confirmed for 2025, but a movie, Superman movie. So like, while this year was their year to dominate, Black Adam was supposed to set that the bar, I guess I'm gonna say precedent or whatever the fuck that word is.
Well, last year with Black Adam was supposed to be DC's year.
Yeah, the bar. He set the bar. Shazam 2 didn't beat out Black Adam, did it?
No, it didn't. It didn't even make half of Black Adam.
Didn't even make it. The Flash still, didn't make it either.
The Flash didn't even make half of Shazam.
And there you go. And then Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2 coming out. But Black Adam, like you said before, Black Adam kind of set the bar for DC's year after the fact.
Yeah, because flowers where flowers are due. He wound up doing what he said he was going to do, and he did change the hierarchy of power. Not in a rude way, but in a way where he basically proved people were interested enough to at least watch it. Like, it did take a dip in the second weekend. I kid you fucking not. It did take a dip on the second weekend. And that had to be from the lack of direction, not only from the general audience's point of view, but also from, like, DC fans and Snyder fans and, the people that go and watch these movies and stay connected and actually, know about it. They were obviously muddled out because of all the drama. All these movies just have been doing bad because of all this DC drama, everything that's been surrounding it. And with that being said, we are still in the middle of it because James Gunn is refusing to do a full reboot. That's one thing. I think if we do a full reboot, we'll go ahead and be on the same page. I even say cancel Matt Reeves' universe. Just leave the Batman at a one and done and just reboot the whole DC brand and franchise and start anew. But instead, they want to continue on with this nonsense where they're never going to truly be released from 2013. Because it literally seems like from Man of Steel, when that neck snapped and Harambe died, like that's when everything just completely went left field.
This alternate timeline because Clark had to snap Zod's neck for to save people. But anyway, it regardless.
He obviously did it because he was angry.
Yeah, no, he clearly did it because he had no other option.
You know what? You know what? It made that scene better. If Superman did it with a smile.
Yeah, just get real crazy. Make him this universe's Joker. That would have done it. That's right. Give him a reason for Batman to fight his ass.
They said they want a smiling Superman and one that gets cats out of trees and shit like that. So I mean, I would snap his neck with a smile on his face and then save a cat.
Well, not even then, right? Because
save a cat out of a burning tree in the middle of Metropolis.
Exactly. The tree's on fire? No. Here's your cat, lady. Stupid motherfuckers. I was on Twitter the other day and I came across, I think you've seen it. I think you might have liked it, but I came across this tweet that was like, well, what do you guys mean what do the Snyder fans mean, quote unquote, when they say, oh, real DC fans, quote unquote, right? And I know we say it quite often, real DC fans, quote unquote. And I was just like, well, the idea behind that is they called Snyder fans not real DC fans, and that real DC fans were the ones that went to go see the Suicide Squad, whatever. It's only derogatory in the sense of like, oh, you think you know more about DC because you watch whatever garbage. Well, they call Snyder fans that, oh, you don't even care about the comics, you just care about Snyder's movies. You know what I mean? So it's like a back and forth, and I think it's funny.
So then where does that thing come out where it's like, oh, real DC fans didn't show up to the movies?
The ones that say that they watch everything, they read comics and do this and that.
Oh, but they're not getting.
They're not getting in the seats. Yeah, those real DC fans, the ones that say they want James Gunn to succeed and whatever, but apparently there's more DC fans and the Snyder fans versus the ones that say they are online or whatever.
So what would you define as a real DC fan?
Someone that consumes DC regularly.
Do they have to read comic books?
They don't have to. It'd be nice. Like, you know what I mean? Just because the modern fan is like, the modern general audience member will be like, oh, Blue Beetle's cool. And like, that's kind of how interests grow. You're like, oh, this character's cool. He's a comic book character. Let me read his comics. Like, that would put you down the rabbit hole. Or that's what these movies are supposed to do.
Well, then let's be honest. I don't read comics, right? I consider myself to be a DC fan.
Oh yeah, you still consume.
I wouldn't
DC
say
things.
I wouldn't say real DC fan, like, like that seems like too much. But I would consider myself a DC fan. I do consume DC things. Yeah. I will say there is some DC products that I don't like, and I really cannot resonate with. Yeah. Would that mean that I'm a fake fan?
Well, no, that's why. Like, a fan is, you can be a fan of anything. Like, say you don't like DC, right? You don't like Superman or whatever, but you're a big Batman fan. You're a Batman fan. You're not a DC fan. You're a Batman fan. You'll watch anything with the Batman in it. But if you're watching other things, like, I know I've shown you the animated movies. I told you mine's not Man of Steel, but The Death of Superman, Reign of Superman. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm consuming DC to every capacity, from comics to other graphic novels to, my merchandising, and then so on and so forth. Like, I don't think there's a bigger fan, obviously, but I mean, we consume DC at a normal pace. Mm-hmm. That makes you a real DC fan.
And before anybody tries to get at me in the comics or like the comments or anything, I'd say my favorite like DC project, like out of live action animation, it doesn't even matter. It would have to be that animated film where they go into the alternate timeline with Ultraman and stuff like that. Oh, that's the best
Crisis on Two Earths.
Yeah, that's the best like piece of DC content I consumed.
Sounds good.
Ever in my life. I think I've watched it since you showed it to me, or when I had asked you about it. You remember? And then you were like, "Oh yeah, it's about this, whatever." Mm-hmm. I think I've watched it like about 6 or 7 times already. Yeah, like, I fucking love it that really much. The ending, where Batman was like, "No, Flash, you can't handle it," and then makes the other dude, and he was like, "You knew what was gonna happen." It was like, "Damn, Batman really just did that shit." Cold. Like that whole movie's a vibe. I love that shit.
That's why. And there's
I need points for being able to dig that out.
DC fan is just, if you consume DC to any capacity, I label you a fan. Granted, again, interests are meant
so you just say it like fucking around just to bash at the people that shit on Snyder stuff.
Yeah, if there's people like, I know there's people on TikTok that will be like, "Oh, you're not a real DC fan. You've only watched the movies or whatever, but I've read obscure character number 27, whatever the fuck." I'll be like, "Okay, cool." Because at the same time, I know what I like to read. I'm not going to read obscure character number 27 when I like the Batman, Superman, like characters I already know that are constantly getting runs. Oh, yeah, you're better than me because you've read obscure character 27 and his 4-issue run. Really? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make you a bigger fan.
I just feel like that's just... that's reaching.
That's
I hate when people do it. Like why. When I think when they had announced what's his name? He's gonna be in Superman Legacy, Morpho or Metamorpho or whatever.
Yeah.
I had asked you about him.
Yeah.
Metamorph, whatever his name is.
Yeah, whatever the fuck his name is.
I had asked you about him, and you told me that you didn't know either, right? Yeah. Like you hardly knew him. Mm-hmm. And then I seen people on Twitter that would be like, "Oh, he was in these issues and blah 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 blah." I'm like, nobody fucking knew that. And then I wound up finding out he was in Young Justice. He was in there in one of the episodes. Mm-hmm. I think it was the one where like they're saving them off Bane's Island or whatever.
Oh yeah.
He was in that episode. But yeah, man, I was just like, man, what's a real DC fan regardless? Because I say I consume DC, but if we're talking real DC fan and I gotta know who Metamorpho is or whoever the fuck his name is in order to be like, I'm a real DC fan, I'd rather not even try to get the title.
I know, that's why. And like, again, interests are meant to, pull you into certain things to consume other media about them. But if you didn't know about them in the first half, should you really care about them? Like, you know what I mean? Like I've told you before, I'm not going to read the Authority comics just because they're getting their movie or whatever. Like, I'd rather wait for the movie so I could just be like, oh, well, I don't
Can't
really
even get a comic right now because them motherfuckers are gonna be like $300, $400.
Yeah, that's
because
why.
everybody's like, oh, I want to read it now. It's
I know,
like,
and like even on the app, I hated that they do this. But for early releases of comics, they want you to pay like an extra like $5 for each comic that you get, and I'm like, what? I'm like, that's cool. Like I'll be interested.
it's like pre-ordering.
It's kind of like pre-ordering, but for the app, so like you can actually read it then and there.
Oh, like
Yeah.
you don't have to wait for the release
Yeah.
date. Oh,
And
so you get it early.
Yeah, technically. But I'm like, okay, cool. Let me read this issue that's coming out, weeks apart, months apart, when I could just go back and read something that I haven't read before that's older than this comic. Especially if I know the comic's going to be free and like when it's over, like why would I pay for that, That's what they tried doing with the last big comic run that they had, where they were like, oh, the death of the Justice League or whatever, they don't really die.
Yeah.
But the death of the Justice League, like they were having you pay for each issue after the first one, and I'm like, this is gonna be free. Like there's no way they're gonna like it's popular now because it's coming out, and they want me to pay for it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna wait for it to come out. And what happened? It came out for free.
It's basically, do you want to be in the know now or do you want to be in the know later?
Exactly. And I'm like, I'm fine being in the know later. And like the way I used to consume comics before I got the app was through YouTube. So it's always like,
makes sense.
Yeah.
It's always in a rotation type shit. Makes sense. Yeah. Well, good luck, Dwayne, on your next endeavors. DCEU is dead, like I said, and these little nuggets are popping out. It's kind of like when a corpse shits itself. It is basically what's happening. Yeah, it's basically what's happening. Hopefully we do get to see the Ayer cut one day. I'm good with Black Adam 2 not ever being released, and hopefully they make the Batfleck movie. That'd be 100%.
Yeah.
But with that, Emily Blunt saying that she hopes that a sequel to Edge of Tomorrow will happen already. Coming out, talking to the Happy Sad Confused podcast, saying that she's so ready to start another one. She says, I wish there could be one. There was one that Doug Lehman slithered over to me, and like I would have loved to make it a reality, but I just don't know when or how many Mission Impossibles does Tom Cruise need. Like, come on. So she says she's ready to go. She's read a script already. She says the script is great. Lehman even talked to Flickering Myth, saying that we came up with an idea for a sequel that's so shockingly revolutionary for how a sequel would get made, and it's so fresh and it's such a fun story. We only even started talking about a sequel because there was so much fan affection for the movie that people started asking us about a sequel. There was so much love for the film. It used to be that people come up to me and talk to me about The Bourne Identity, but Edge of Tomorrow is the one that people consistently come up and talk to me about. There's so much affection for the movie. We at least owe looking at it to see if there's an idea for a sequel, and we came with an idea, and I can't stop talking about it. So Emily Blunt talking it up. The director himself, Doug Lehman, talking it up, saying that they have a fun sequel. Now, the first one didn't really do a lot of money. I think it only cracked like $100 million or something like that. And I think the budget for it was like 180 mil plus another 150 million or something like that for marketing. So, and you've seen, I think the title kept changing every time. It was like Edge of Tomorrow, and then it was like Live, Die, Repeat or something, and then it turned into something else. So I know marketing was a hassle for this movie, but I mean, did you like the first part?
Yeah, it was cool. Nothing too crazy. I think this movie was a little bit out of Tom Cruise's range, if I'm being honest. A little bit too sci-fi for his liking, I feel.
What?
Yeah.
Like for him. For you to like see him in, or?
Well, yeah. That's
you
what
think
I mean.
You think he's like a more practicality kind of guy?
Yeah. I think because I mean, the movies that I know of Tom Cruise, obviously Mission Impossible, he's done like 80 of them now, but like, well, there's Night and Day that I know of too, and like, I just feel he's more of a grounded type of guy, and while the concept of sci-fi works, like it probably didn't work here for me to see him like that, but I mean, it's pretty good.
You didn't like him in Minority Report?
He was cool in Minority Report.
You remember that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, it was like a sci-fi one, but I guess in a way it's kind of grounded too.
Yeah, It's just different. It's different. And I know they were trying to do something different with him here, too. And I forget when this one came out.
This one came out like in 2014, I think.
Oh, see? It was probably getting rivaled by Avengers.
Yeah, at the time. This one really got squished.
Yeah.
And I think at the time, too, Tom Cruise was coming off the whole, like, crazy cult thing as well. So people weren't really excited to see him. But him and Emily Blunt in this movie, I personally liked it. I slept on it when it first came out as well. But it was because of all the... And I remember it vividly. It was because all the name changes were just... It didn't seem like they knew what to market it as. So I didn't think that they knew what the film was. And then when I finally got around to it, I think I watched it like on TNT one night. And I was like, this is actually pretty decent. So I wound up buying a copy. And I wound up watching it from beginning to end. And I was like, this movie's actually really good. It just sucks that, yeah, I think it got kind of... squashed out by different movies at the time. And, well... I think Tom Cruise plays well in sci-fi movies. I think he does well in all kinds of movies. But I do see what you mean where he kind of plays that grounded character a little bit more, you know. But I would want to see a sequel. I think a sequel to this movie would be cool. I don't know what they would call it. Edge of Tomorrow? Tomorrow?
That'd be the laziest fucking live, die, repeat again. Like,
yeah. Like, rinse and repeat.
Like, no. They'd have to get creative, and I don't know. Who knows? I know he says he has a couple plans to keep working with his current director of the Mission Impossible movies, you know, for movies after the fact that aren't even Mission Impossible related. So, I don't know. Maybe he's running out of work, and he'll go back to this eventually.
Trying to do a space movie. He's trying to go into outer space. Yeah. I, for one, will be in line for the second one. I'm sorry I wasn't there for the first one, but I'm excited for this one. I actually enjoy Tom Cruise in anything that he's actually in. What's that other sci-fi one that he was in? And that one was actually really good. The thing about Tom Cruise is that he loves movies, and he excels at his craft.
Yeah.
Even like the Jack Reacher movies, I know people were dragging him because those weren't like book accurate.
Yeah.
But he
twisted it on his head and made him fun.
Yeah, they made him fun.
Even those were kind of cool.
Did it really good. But what was that one movie? I'm trying to think. What was the one with that white sphere? You remember?
White sphere?
Yeah, Oblivion. Oblivion. It's called Oblivion.
Oh yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oblivion. Tom Cruise was in it, and it was like a white sphere on this one planet. That movie was pretty good too. Haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah. I think it was a Minority Report also.
I told you that. Minority Report.
Oh yeah, that's right. My bad. I got bad memory. But yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff, and you can't really blame him for a lot. I wish he'd do something funny again, like he was in Tropic Thunder. like I'd want to see him do something funny like that again.
I think he's out of his comedy days, and his kind of comedy is more subtle now, more cool guy comedy. You know, like, you know, I don't think he wants to be
like
looked
in Maverick.
at. Yeah, I don't think he'd ever put on the fat suit again, to be honest.
That shit would be funny though.
Yeah, but can't wait for a sequel. But another sequel that's apparently in the works is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark 2 by Andre Orverdell. He's saying that it's still in development. So if you guys haven't seen the first one, that shit scary as fuck. Speaking to IGN, and Andre Orverdell basically confirmed that Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark 2 is going to happen. He said to IGN, "We have a story and we have a script. We've been working on the script as late as last year and even slightly into this year. The process obviously stopped with the strike, but it's alive for sure. COVID, and then his new movie that is just dropped, I think like 2 weeks ago, The Last Voyage of Demeter."
Oh, the vampire one.
Yeah.
Dracula one.
It ate up 2 years of my life, certainly put a dent in my progress. So it's going to happen. It's in the works. It's just he had to deal with a different movie. Script's ready to go. Are you wanting to see a sequel of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Before I answer that, you know what's weird about that Dracula movie though? I saw like zero marketing, and it comes out in like 2 weeks.
There you go. I barely started seeing trailers on Twitter.
Yeah, like I see people promoting this movie, and I'm like, this movie kind of just flew under the radar, and it comes out in 2 weeks, and now I'm barely hearing about it. I didn't know this movie existed at all.
Yeah, me either. I started seeing it too, and I didn't even know it was a vampire movie. I seen the trailer playing like on my feed, but I never actually like clicked on it.
Oh, I've seen it. It looks pretty nice. I think you'd probably like it.
Yeah,
it looks like it has all the
it's a horror,
the horror movie aspects to it. But back to this. The first one, the book scared me shitless. That I don't fuck with that picture. I don't like that very much. I don't fuck with that fat lady. Nope, they can't do it. It was scary in the book.
Why don't you body shame her?
It was scary in the movie. I'd be excited for the second one. Yeah.
Yeah. And these ones aren't too bloody to the point where you can't handle.
Yeah, no. It's just like the unsettledness.
The scare value.
Yeah, the scariness and the unsettlingness behind it all.
That scarecrow in the beginning was
that shit had me. That shit had me shook, homie. Oh man, small spoiler for that, but yeah, no, the way he goes out is crazy.
Yeah, made up a lot of money, and because I know you said in the last episode you didn't really know like Lionsgate making any more movies.
Yeah.
Well, this is being developed by Lionsgate. The second one and the first one came out of Lionsgate, so there you go. So if you're looking for any more Lionsgate movies, it's coming out like that. So a sequel is in the works. Can't wait for that one. Something that has been shut down completely and apparently by Bob Iger himself is the live action adaptation of Hunchback of Notre Dame. Insider reporting saying that now that Bob Iger is back in the driver's seat, it is highly unlikely that project will move forward, as Iger is not the biggest fan of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and the remake isn't in their list of priorities. They can obviously change, but with this recent information we have on the project, it's not happening. I don't even know how they can add like if you're seeing what's happening with Snow White, you're seeing what's happening with Little Mermaid. I don't even know how they can adapt this without offending somebody at this point. So it's probably a good idea for not even to adapt it.
Yeah. That's probably where I was going. I was like, this one flew under the radar. Homie said I didn't want to touch it, but for not liking it, just crazy. There's got to be subliminal. Like, there's no way. There's got to be a deeper meaning for why he doesn't like this shit.
This movie's great. I love the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
It's a good movie.
Now, do I think a live action version can do it justice? Yeah, but they would have to really play on that, and we all know in this day and age it's kind of hard to play on certain things.
It would be kind of hard, kind of like if you were to adapt the what's that one Egyptian movie, the one that we were watching the other day,
The Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like, you wouldn't do that, you wouldn't make that live action in this type of age, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't.
They did Exodus and Gods, or Exodus, that's what it was called, with Christian Bale and the other guy.
Hey, they didn't make it. I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't exist to me. No,
I still haven't seen it, but it exists.
I don't know.
I know it exists.
Mandela effect. I
know it exists. I know it exists because a lot of people were mad.
Christian Bale, Batman? Nah, I don't think he'd do that.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, a lot of people got mad because of the fact that Christian Bale basically whitewashed the character, and I was like, so that was pretty.
But yeah, you wouldn't do that, and at least that means it's safe from their hands.
We can't really do much with disabilities because we couldn't really do anything with the dwarfs either. That's the thing. Snow White, we can't have any dwarfs because dwarfs are insensitive. Hunchback of Notre Dame, we can't do that one because disabilities. So
yeah, basically.
2023 is fun. Fucking love it here. It's the best. I wasn't clamoring for any more live action adaptations, so this being kind of shelved is okay. I know Josh Gad was producing this one, and he was actually really excited about it.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
No.
Josh Gad. He was the dude that he played Gaston's right hand man in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, Olaf. The dude that played Olaf?
Yeah, him.
Okay.
Yeah. He was set to produce and I think write this movie, so he's out of the job with this one. But you've seen the original.
Yeah.
You know what it entails with this movie. So you know why it can't be me.
Yeah.
I wonder why Bob Iger doesn't like it though. If that's
I'm telling you, there has to be a deeper meaning behind it. That's got to be subliminal. Like, they were probably asking him, but why? We got Josh here. He's working on this bitch night and day. Why would you take it from him? And he was just like, I can't explain it. I can't tell you. Just tell him it's scrapped. Pay him and tell him it's scrapped. Don't even show that bitch to my desk. Just let him know. Wink, wink. He can't be here.
It can't happen. It can't happen. Well, maybe it's another bad decision in the chamber and a slew of mostly bad decisions from Disney, because yet another movie seems to be flopping, and that is the new Haunted Mansion movie. Only making about opening weekend 24 million. Second weekend did about the same. We're looking at 44 million or so that this movie's made, and it's had a $150 million budget. Now, we already heard that the cast couldn't make it to the premiere. They had to leave because of the whole strike that's happening.
Yeah.
Not a lot of promotions happening for this movie. Not like Barbie. Like, they didn't need the actors to promote it because they basically did a Barbie dream house.
Yeah.
People knew about the Barbie movie.
Shit.
Where the Haunted Mansion, there wasn't really a lot to promote without the actors, you know? I personally think it's a shame. I'm hearing good things from this movie, and seeing Danny DeVito back is fucking killer. I want to watch this movie so bad. We haven't gotten around to it, unfortunately, especially because nobody's
it'll be on Disney+.
especially because of this reason as well. Nobody's really clamoring about it as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Do you think this is just another L in Disney's rapport, or we can it turn around? I mean, people are hoping that it'll turn around in the next upcoming weeks.
If it could turn around, good luck. But I think with Blue Beetle and Mutant Mayhem kind of coming through, and then I think there's another big movie coming out in August this month, right? I can't remember.
By this month? No, I think it's all the big movies are done.
Just be Mutant Mayhem and Blue Beetle, right?
Yeah, Blue Beetle when that one releases, but who even knows if anybody's gonna watch that one?
The Blue Beetle Battalion.
The Blue Beetle Battalion's gonna show up.
Yeah, stupid. So stupid.
I wonder if they're the same people that make up whoever watched the Haunted Mansion over this weekend.
I don't know. I don't think it'll turn around, but hey, I mean, if it means it'll end up on Disney Plus sooner, that means the sooner we can watch it. There you go.
And then you guys get a review from us. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, Haunted Mansion not doing too good. Another flop seems to be in the works. I'm hoping it does a little bit better. It's just, yeah, Barbie, Oppenheimer, it came out
swinging. By literally knocking everybody out of the competition.
Basically, not even Mutant Mayhem could overtake Barbie and its power. So, seems to me that Haunted Mansion has a climb up to go. Apparently, they're hoping for the best. So, hopefully, if we can get around to it, we'll probably go watch it in theaters as well. Barbie, Oppenheimer, those movies are gonna make it. We already know. I think Oppenheimer made already $500 million.
Yeah.
So. Barbie's at $1 billion, so it is what it is. We'll have to wait with that one.
Rare WBW right there.
Right. But maybe an L, maybe a W for Adam Devine here, saying that Marvel movies ruined comedies. What do you think about that? Marvel movies ruining comedies.
Who's Adam Devine?
He's the dude in that god-awful movie, The Outlaws.
Oh, really? That's him? That's
him.
His name?
You don't see his name right there? You don't see his face?
He deadass doesn't look like the guy, but yeah.
Goofy ass smile? Yeah.
What does he know about making a good comedy? What does he know about making a good comedy, Adam Devine? I've only seen you in Pitch Perfect. That's how I know your comedy is so ass. That was the only things I've watched him in. I've tried watching your specials. Tried watching Outlaws.
Game Over Man was good.
This guy.
He was good.
You know what you call it?
You seen Workaholics?
I've seen Workaholics.
He's good in Workaholics.
Yeah, but he had those other two baboons with him, so it doesn't even matter.
Baboons.
Adam Sandler has been doing his job for years. If anything, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way.
Well, Adam Sandler did write The Outlaws.
Oh, shh. Adam, that's a bad one on your report. I was about to come in to defend you, but you suck for that. Totally forgot. The Happy Gilmore fucking logo.
Right. So, Adam Devine basically went to Theo Vaughn's podcast talking about You know who that is already?
I do know who that is.
So he says, you watch comedies nowadays and you're like, this is not fucking comedy. Where are the jokes? Where are the bits? There's still good comedy shows, but movie comedy, it's hard. My theory, I think Marvel ruined it. I feel like superhero movies ruin comedies because you go into the theater and you expect to watch something that costs $200 million to make, and comedies movies aren't that. So you're like, why would I spend the same amount of money to go watch a little comedy in the theater if I can spend that and watch something that is worth $200 million? And they still make those movies kind of funny, like, oh my god, is that raccoon talking? This is hilarious, which it is, but it's not real comedy. Every studio used to put out several comedies a year, and there were like 45 comedies in theaters per year. So every week or so, there's a new comedy in theaters. Now, last year, there was like 6 or 7. It's crazy.
Oh, Adam Devine, you dumb, ignorant fuck. You know why comedies aren't funny anymore? It's not because of the Marvels. It's not because of the MCU. It's because you guys started tiptoeing around comedy. All the jokes, like, what was it? We were watching Rush Hour, and it's just like, yeah, a lot of these jokes couldn't be made today. But what happens? We still bust our ass laughing because it's funny. Older comedy just works better because you guys are tiptoeing around new comedy and what made old comedy work. It's not that the MCU took your funny. It's that y'all are scared to be funny.
They are scared to be funny. And I think you have a point. And I think Marvel does give audience goers safe comedy because they don't really...
It's quips. It's just little jokes. Like, Rhodey's a cripple. Like, you know what I mean?
If you want to see, like, dirty, like, grungy comedy, you got to watch, like, the movies like The Blackening or The Babysitter. You know? Like, those movies where they just kind of go balls to the wall. And when they go balls to the wall, you're just like, whoa, we didn't even know you guys can still do this shit in this
like,
kind of day and age.
Point the cameras at them, get them canceled.
I do think he has a point where there's not a lot of comedies coming out. But I think that's obviously because of public perception, where it's, you know, they're a little... But let's be honest, the general audience general audiences are kind of pussy sometimes, and it is what it is. Like, they kind of get offended really quick. Though I understand some things are justified, there's times where it's like, it's a movie. You know, it's a movie. It's art. Somebody put it into their movie for a reason. I mean, there's some things that are distasteful, like Josh Whedon's whole thing where the Flash lands on Wonder Woman. Like, those are distasteful. Mm-hmm. But you have other ones that are genuinely funny. You just, sometimes you don't know if you can laugh because you're just like, damn, that's really fucked up. And then sometimes when you got to think about it, it's not funny anymore. Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. It's different if you're trying to be raunchy, you know what I mean? Versus, like, funny. Because you could totally be like, oh, that's a little weird. Why are they trying to make this a joke? You know what I mean? And that's kind of what raunchy is. That's that feeling of, like, that was funny, but that was also really fucked up what they did. You know what I mean? So, like, you wouldn't get that. You used to get that with, like, I don't know, Pineapple Express or This Is the End with Seth Rogen and James Franco kind of doing that dynamic. Yeah. But now that they aren't working together, you know what I mean? Neighbors came out, like, a bunch of movies like that can still happen. It's just they don't happen organically because either your cast just can't deliver the punchlines,
or you make a dumbass movie like The Outlaws.
Yeah, or your writing is so ass, you make The Outlaws. Like, it doesn't work out too much. Comedy in the MCU was subtle, and it's, like, a lot more in your face sometimes. Not so much subtle, but in your face, where it's like, oh, he called him Squidward. I know Squidward because he has a fat nose. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of comedy the MCU brings in. It's not your kind of comedy, I guess, but it's not because the Marvels took it or the MCU took it. I mean,
yeah. And I was gonna say something, but it's gonna kind of foreshadow our review that's coming up on Saturday. So I'm gonna just leave it as it is and not spill the beans so soon because you guys are gonna totally guess when we were reviewing, and
we can't do that.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be too on the nose.
Can't do that.
It's gonna be too on the nose. Yeah. So it is what it is. To me, Adam Devine is not really like. He's never that funny to me to begin with.
Exactly.
I liked him in Workaholics. Yeah, he was funny there. I like the whole backstory that they actually lived in that house because they didn't have money to produce the show. The Game Over Man, when it came out on Netflix, that shit was pretty funny too. But then, you know, you did movies like Pitch Perfect, which was okay, and then it was a slippery slope. You're not really funny. Like, Adam Devine's not funny like Dave Chappelle's funny. Like, Dave Chappelle will tell you a fucking joke. He's funny in a way where, like, it's stupid. Where he does stupid shit so it makes you laugh because it's so dumb. But then once you see how stupid it is and how, you know, he does it every single time.
You're like, this is stupid.
Yeah, this is kind of stupid. Yeah. And that's how I kind of felt when I was watching The Outlaws. In the beginning, it was kind of like, oh, you know, it got some good actors. But then it got a little too stupid. And I was like, all right, this is kind of stupid.
Yeah, no. I think that's why, we're out of the era where Billy Madison would be funny. You know what I mean? Happy Gilmore, I think. Like, they work as classics, but if you were to have them now, I don't think they'd stick.
I think they can if it's a one-show pony type thing. I mean, if it not a one-show pony, if it's like a one and done. Like, if they would have made Happy Gilmore and then Adam Sandler would have rode that train every single movie, like, I'm going to play this dumbass guy every single movie, then we would have been like, well, Adam Sandler is a one-show pony. Kind of like Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah.
She came out as Ursula and she kind of changed perspective, so maybe hopefully she could ride on that success and do different roles that she doesn't have to basically be the fat punchline to movies. But she was a one-show pony. You go from one movie to another, you're seeing the same person. That's what Adam Devine does. He is the same person in every single movie, just in a different situation, still doing. Pete Davidson, same thing. Lonely stoner in a different movie. Lonely stoner in a different movie. And in every single movie, he likes to make the dumbass joke. And I get it. I get it. It's your dad and you feel like you can make the joke because it helps with your trauma. But saying that your dad is a firefighter who burned every single time as a fucking gag, to me, that is just a smidgen disrespectful. But that's just me.
Yeah. But, yeah. It's not so much that the Marvels took the comedy. It's just your comedy sucks.
His comedy sucks. Comedy plays it safe. That's why I watch, like, Andrew Scholes and stuff like that, because he doesn't give a fuck. Dave Chappelle, he doesn't give a fuck. And
so much Dave Chappelle.
And they'll say some off-the-wall shit that you're just like, what the fuck? But you already expect that from them, so it's fine. So you can still find pockets of comedy where it's... Even Theo Von's comedy, too. Like, I like his comedy, too. He actually can make jokes and punchlines. I know he was saying that somebody was stealing his jokes, and there's, like, this whole beef around it right now, but that's for something different. But Adam Devine himself, if we're speaking specifically him, he doesn't know how to say jokes. He can only be a punchline to a stupid ass bit,
basically. But yeah, no, I don't agree with this at all. The Marvels, the MCU. I keep saying the Marvels. The MCU did not take your comedy. It's just you either didn't have it in the first half or whatever.
You smothered your comedy with a pillow. I'll just say that right now.
Yeah.
And that pillow is stupidity, and you were just like.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, Adam Devine. You're way off the money with it. MCU didn't kill comedy. I do think the general audience, though, does go to a Marvel movie to get their comedy because it's safe comedy.
Well, yeah. That's why. You don't want to...
You're not going to see them go and watch Dave Chappelle because they'll be offended. They're not going to go and watch, like, The Blackening or what was the other one? The House Party one that just came out not too long ago. You're not going to see them watch that because that comedy is... too much. It would be too much for them.
That and like I don't know. I guess one that was kind of getting controversy, the one with Jennifer Lawrence that just came out. What's it called? We watched the trailer for it. It just came out.
Oh, No Hard Feelings.
Yeah, No Hard Feelings. Like that one was problematic, quote unquote problematic. Like people want something
was
safe.
Like an old lady trying to get a young kid or something.
Yeah, people want it safe, and that's fine. But I actually did hear that one was kind of funny. So I don't know. I don't know.
I heard she has a nude scene where she fights.
I
heard like her titties were out. And
I don't know. I've never seen this movie.
If that doesn't make you want to go see that movie, I don't know what will. But with that being said, Adam Devine, you're wrong. Fuck out of here. But that's going to be our last topic for this episode. If there's anything that you guys wanted us to talk about that we didn't talk about, any topics, any movies that you guys want us to review, you guys want to support us in a big way, you guys want to interact with us or, tell us that we're wrong, Josh, let them know where they can let us know.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. We post new episodes are up. You can hit us up there for any news or movies you want us to cover. Listen to us on the go anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, things of that nature. We're on a lot of platforms. Go check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Support us in a big way. Buzzsprout, links are in those bios I just gave you, the socials I just gave you. Subscribe, get special perks only meant for subscribers. Support us in a big way, and you'll get a shout out on this on any of these episodes. So go ahead and do that. And when it's all said and done, subscribe to our YouTube at FilmBros Podcast.
Oh, yeah, we're here at the end, and we beat the clock. We will talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.